because it is PTM's game. Okay, he's getting ready to start, so we'll actually do commentary right now. We're going to commentate PTM's game, then we are going to jump over and play some Slay the Spire, which, guys, if you've never watched, you absolutely should watch it. It's another card game, but it's more of a deck-building game, but it's a game where you play against the computer, in a sense. And it's very sweet. It's very sweet. So we are going to commentate PTM's winning game. I know a lot of you guys have really been enjoying the commentary, so I am trying to bring more of that to the channel for y'all. I've had a lot of people ask me to keep doing it, which is great. You know, I enjoy doing it. I just didn't know if you guys actually enjoyed it or not. So let's open this Crimson while we wait. Hopefully we'll get ourselves a good old Buzzwole. And then we'll do our Ultra Ball check, and then we'll jump over to PTM's game. All right. No, we didn't. So we'll do the Gold Ultra Ball check, where we open one of these after we open booster packs every single night. And try to get ourselves into that beautiful Gold Ultra Ball. Not today. Maybe another. Slay the Spire is surprisingly good and fun to watch. Dude, Zorua, it's so good. I did not think. What class do I play? I've only played Ironclad so far. I'm up to Ascension 6. I've only had it for 2 days, though. A viewer bought it for me, and I'm super addicted. Oh, by the way, we are jumping over here. All right, so let's do this. Guys, by the way, it is PTM_TV right here on Twitch, streaming right now, allowing us to do this. So if you have the ability to open 2 streams, please open up his stream. Show him some love while we do this. And so it is a PTM TV against Lucky Lou 254. I'm not sure if this is a winner's bracket match. Let me check here if it's a winner or loser's bracket match. Oh, it is a loser's. We know it's a loser's because we know it's a loser's because of the fact that we commentated PTM's game where he lost before. So let me let's commentate this right now. All right, so we are starting Lucky Lou in that beautiful Team Flare getup here against PTM. Now, PTM is running this, I believe it's Zoroark Garbodor. We did commentate one of his matches before. We saw that he had some unique techs here. Now, we do see a rainbow and a parallel. With the Evo Soda, that instantly makes me think he's running Zoroark Golisopod because of that rainbow. Now, I could be wrong. It could be something else. You know, they generally run basic, but it also could be Golisopod Gully Garb. Because of that rainbow, wants to be able to use it for Galisopods, also wants to be able to use it for Trubbishes and Garbs. So we'll see here. I suspect that we're going to see an Ultra Ball for a Tapu Lele, Wonder Tag here for a Bridget, get a bunch of the bench Pokemon set up. We'll have to see. There is another full art Tapu Lele. And we are going to see that Wonder Tag come down. I would have to suspect we will see that Bridget here. And that will really give us insight into kind of what PTM's looking to go up against in this loser's bracket match. Game 1 of the series, Lucky Lou going first. So we do see that Bridget grab. We see it coming down now. If this is Gully Garb, I think here you have to take a Wimpod and 2 Trubbishes. You could just go for the triple Trubbish, but I always like the Wimpod coming down, gives you access to that first impression attack. Okay, no, it looks like it's Zoroark, so it is Zoroark, and now the question is it Garb, or is it Golisopod? Because you do run that rainbow. It does open up access to things like a Tapu Gear, does put that DCE down, is going to start to potentially stack a DCE'd Lele into knocking this Trubbish out on turn 1. Now, we do see PTM with his own Tapu Lele dropping that down for the Wonder Tag, grabbing that Bridget, going to allow him access to grabbing 3 Pokes. You've got to suspect that it's going to be 3 Zorua, just get his Zoroarks going off. And one thing to note is Lucky Lou has that Oranguru. So one interesting tech there is that Resource Management Oranguru gives him no problems with that the Sylveon GX deck that runs around sometimes. And can make these late game Zoroark matchups, you know, effectively not go to time, but, you know, just go to a situation where, you know, they can recur their puzzles and their opponent can't. Now, we do know PTM does not run the Resource Management Oranguru from the first time that we commentated, which was the Bane that he ran into. Now, we see here that there's no supporter or anything out of Lucky Lou. He's just going to swing for 40 with that energy drive. And if you're PTM, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see that your opponent's got no supporter, no Zoroarks, no trades, no nothing. And not even another energy. So we're going to see the mysterious treasure of the Ultra Ball. And now you've got to think, if you're PTM, do I just Garbotoxin lock him out here? I would love to see the Garbotoxin come down. Actually, I'd love to see Trash Phalange. I think you just go Trash Phalange here. Take your momentum. Start. They're gonna have to waste items to Ultra Balls, things like that, to try to find their way into these Zoroarks. Just get Trash Phalange online. It's a way you can one-shot any of these GXs on the board. It also keeps your Trubbish alive another turn. You get to Float Stone out here. Now is going to use Cynthia. Grabs a. It looks like a Parallel City and 2 Ultra Balls. I'd love to see one of these Ultra Balls come down here. Maybe on the double end, since you don't want to end your opponent out of this bad hand. Ultra Ball away the double end, grab a Zoroark, and then trade away the other Ultra Ball. Or do an Ultra Ball and it doesn't really matter. The sequencing doesn't matter. Grab yourself that Zoroark, trade away the end, play yourself a full Sycamore next turn. Now the question is, you have to trade, right? You want to find that DC here. You want to start putting down some serious pressure, and we don't see it here. We do see a Field Blower, nothing really to Field Blow away. Now the question is, do you leave the Garb up? You leave it risk to a DCE. If Lucky Lou were to hit a DCE here, he could knock out that Garbodor, and that would be risky. I would have liked to have seen the Zoroark come into the active. The 40 damage is kind of irrelevant. Now we see the Float Stone come down here on the Tapu Lele. It's going to have the ability to retreat. Now you've got to wonder, is there an energy for that Oranguru? Is that what Lucky's looking at? Maybe bringing up the Oranguru, resource management that Ultra Ball back in hand, and give access to his Zoroark. Looks like no, just does another energy drive for 40. Man, you've got to hate to see that. Now, what I would love to see here is Field Blower that DC away, Sycamore, and then take a trade. Take a trade off of what you get. You've got a ton going for you here. I could see the line of play where you'd want to maybe ace a roll of the Garb, keep it alive. I don't like that though. Let your Garb pass at this point, you know. I don't like the trade before the Sycamore. If you hit resources like a single puzzle and something else that you can't use, then you're in a situation where you have to Sycamore it away. I like the sequencing after you play the Sycamore. It gives you an effective 9 cards in hand, and now it's just risky. So we see a Lele and a Zorua. So see right here, you're in this situation now where you're getting rid of one of your Tapu Leles, and I'm not sure that was worthwhile. But we do see a double puzzle here. We do see PTM popping off with that wow, says, man, no energy again. Now we will get that trade here. We'll be able to trade the Kartana away. I would have liked to have seen the Kartana saved. Still no energy, just shaking his head, says, how unfortunate. And I think you've got to retreat the Garb here. You don't want to give access to a free prize, which could have potentially let Lucky out of the supporter drought. I think that'd be kind of silly. I think you at least force a Guzma waste here, and another, a Float Stone or something. Well, actually, no, you could just retreat the... Well, no, he Field Blew it off, right? So, yeah, I think you absolutely retreat the Garbodor here. I don't think you just give the free Trash Phalange to knock out. Your opponent has shown that they've got no energy, no Zoroark, which means no Ultra Ball, no supporter. Why give them the free prize and potentially help them escape that situation? I would have to say that's a misplay. I think you absolutely retreat into the Zoroark here and just let it take that 40. Oh no, and there's that energy drive, and now will we see this one prize change the game for Lucky Lou? You gotta wish we had a picture of the hand cam here, but we do see here PTM is gonna promote that Zoroark, and the other Trubbish will come down now, which is okay. We do have the double puzzle, could grab back one of those Trash Phalangers, is gonna trade away a Parallel City. And there's a unit energy, which would have been perfect had you had that Trash Phalanger out. But unfortunately, he did decide to let it go. Now he's going to trade away a Tapu Lele. Finds an Enhance Hammer. Can't enhance that DC off the Tapu Lele, so it won't be able to attack unless Lucky's able to find his way into a supporter or an energy. Oh no! PTM may be forced to end here. I think you almost just puzzle for the Trash Phalanger and a supporter or something. I'm not sure. And it's one of those situations where you play to win, not play to lose. But or play to not lose. But I feel like until your opponent shows you a supporter, you absolutely do not give them a fresh 6. At least then if Lucky has a supporter, he's just got to straight play it and get 6 cards. If you end, not only does he get 5 cards, but then he also can maybe play a supporter there and see even more. We give him access to visibility of, potentially up to 12 with a Sycamore. So you've got to think maybe just hold off on the end. It's not worth it. Double puzzle, grab yourself the Trash Phalancher back, shuffle it in. And we do see PTM here opting for that double puzzle. Says I'm not going to give you access to that, to that supporter. Now we do see here a Rescue Stretcher. Maybe is still going to play the N. I still would have liked to have seen the Cynthia off that. I don't think you need to, necessarily stretcher out that Garb. I think you can leave it. Or just grab the Garb and a Cynthia. But we are going to see the Zoroark come down. Maybe try to trade his way into a different supporter. Looks like he's contemplating the Floatstone here. I would have liked to have seen the Floatstone be kept. And just trade away a Guzma. Grabs a Guzma and a Floatstone here. Is going to Rescue Stretcher. Shuffle 3 in. Shuffles in the Garb and one of the Trubbishes and Lele. Now, man, do you play this N? This is the real question. Do you play the N? Looks like he is contemplating the 6 cards here. Is going to play the N, says doesn't know what he wants to do right there. You could read it on his lips. And where is DC? You've got to wonder, how many DC does PTM have prized right now? Is he just hitting the worst luck? He's only got 15 cards left in his deck. Are all of his double colorless energy prized? Did he remove double colorless energy overnight and forgot to put it back in his deck and is now running an illegal deck and we're going to have to DQ him from the event? No, obviously he's not. But you've got to wonder, how many double colorless energy does PTM have prized? And how long can he afford to wait to find out? Now, we do see here the Zoroark coming down from Lucky Lou. That N is serving him well. Now he's got the Evo Soda. He's got Zoroarks online. You can see PTM wiping the sweat from his eyes. Says that was probably absolutely a misplay to give him that N. Now we've got the trades on board. Lucky Lou getting ready to rock and roll. You can tell just by his name that luck is on his side. So that N is exactly what he wanted to see. Now, we did see the first trade come down here. Does have 1 DC in the discard, 1 Floatstone, pretty wide variety of different things. We see a DC come down on Zoroark now. Will there be a Floatstone to get this Tapu Lele out of the active? We do see another trade from Lucky coming down, looking for that Floatstone. The Parallel City going away, which means no Field Blower in hand. Otherwise, you'd Field Blow away the Parallel and drop your own. So now we do have a little information that there is no Field Blower. The Parallel War is probably not going to happen, and no Floatstone comes down. Now, there is 1 DC right there. Thank you. That's what PTM says. A little bit of frustration being expressed there, says, gosh, I've dug through 3/4 of my deck to find my first DCE. So we do see that come down here, which is fantastic. Now, you've got to wonder, what's he going to string together? Does trade away another unit energy. Now, that's 2 units down. And is probably looking to maybe trade again. I would trade the Field Blower here. Is just going to opt to ride a speeding for 120 since I don't want to waste any more resources. Do want to save that Field Blower one more time just in case the Parallel comes down. Now, you've got to wonder, what's Lucky Lou going to string together here? Maybe an Acerola would be a very sick grab. Would allow you re-access to that Wonder Tag and save the 2 prizes on the board. Allow you to get priority damage on PTM's active Zoroark. And we see a Max Potion here. Beautiful. We do know a lot of the resource management Oranguru Zoroark builds do run that Max Potion. Now, there's an Enhanced Hammer. With having already used 2 puzzles, that's not what you want to see if you're PTM, knowing that you've already had difficulty finding double colorless up till this point. Where are your double colorless at? You've only got 1 puzzle left in the deck. That very well could be prized as well. And, are the DC there? This hurts. If you're PTM, you've got to start to wonder, what am I going to be able to do? And now you've got a Zorua stuck in the active getting KO'd. That is going to even up Lucky Lou's prizes at 4, which will allow him to take 2 GX knockouts to end this game. That is going to be 80 damage coming down on that Zorua. Taking it out, that will prevent PTM's 4th Zoroark, which at this point I'd say is kind of irrelevant. As, 4 trades online, he'd mill himself before he would probably find another DC. So you've got to wonder now if you're PTM. I don't think the Zorua matters too much. He does still have 100 damage on board with that Riotous Beating attack. Can always drop down that Trubbish to get to the 120 mark. But he's got no double colorless here. He does have that unit energy for the Trash Phalange. Could always use Guzma this turn. Finds a Choice Band. Now, the Choice Band, he shakes his head, but could actually string together a play. He needs to count the items in the discard, which we can see he's getting ready to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right there. 8, 9. So he's actually got 180 damage. You can see him right there, which is actually going to be 210 with the choice band. But Zorak's resistance will, okay, he is going to be smart. Grab the Tapu Lele here. Will give him the knockout. 210 damage with the full amount of items here. Is going to just drop the Trubbish for good measure. I think that's a fantastic call. And is going to do that 210 damage off the items in the choice band. Now, can he find the DCEs? Because there's got to be some prize. Right there's one of them. Thank you. You can see right there a little sigh of relief. PTM recognizing how crucial that DC is going to be in the late game. Especially because Zorak does run the Enhanced Hammer on the other side with those puzzles. Could get it back. He continue to mill all of these special energy off. And Big Mike right there with the hey bitty, dropping it in, showing a little bit of love and support. Now with the fervor that bit dropped down, you've got to think that was a bigger one than just a 1 bit. Looks like it may have been a 500 based on PTM's chat there. What beautiful support, 500 biddies. Gotta love that. And now if you're lucky, you gotta wonder. Looks like he is gonna go for Parallel and the Field Blower. So is going to opt to make PTM pick what to discard. I think you just discard a Zorak and a Tapu Lele here. Obviously, at this point, you got to keep your Trubbish online because you've got all of those items in the discard. And, Tapu Lele is not doing much for you, and you can survive on 2 trades with only 9 cards in deck at this point. Yeah. Oh, he does opt to discard the Trubbish. I disagree with that line of play. You've already got the Trash Flange in hand, and you've got one of the 2 puzzles that you're going to need to get the unit energy back. I think you absolutely keep the Trubbish. It also is, 1 prize attackers that your opponent's going to have to deal with. And you've got the Field Blower to bounce the Parallel City and potentially grab your own back off your second puzzle that you could keep Zorak limited. Right now with only 3 Pokemon on the field, it couldn't one-shot a Garb anyways. I don't really like that pick, but PTM maybe sees a different line of play having access to 3 trades. Now we do see that Enhanced Hammer coming down on the active is going to be incredibly crippling, taking away that unit energy. And we do see the Bridget here, which will allow Lucky Lou to find up to 3 Pokemon in his deck that are non-EX-GX. And that will allow him to get a full bench to potentially take a riotous beating knockout on this active Garbodor and go down to 3 prizes. Evil Dude, thank you for the auto host. I appreciate it. Oh, I should update the title that we are commentating this match. I totally forgot. Bad. My bad. Awesome. I got it, though. I got it. All right. Now, we do see 100 damage come down. Didn't have access, actually, to the 5th Pokemon, so I would have actually liked to just seen 80 come down on Lucky Lou's side. Not even play the Kartana and just save it for another energy, right? You have no reason not to save it for a DCE. And, that would have been beautiful. So we do see 2 DC there, so he only had 1 prize. He just was incredibly unlucky. We do see a Guzma here, so there's actually no supporters left in PTM's deck, and there's no real way to shuffle cards back in. I've got to start to wonder if PTM's almost done here. Now, we do see him grab that Rangaroo with the Guzma, is going to Riotous Beating, go down to 3 prizes, but at this point, I'm not sure that's going to help you too much. You've still got to take 2 GXs, my friend, and, I can't see Lucky Lou giving you an additional bencher. Now, we do see the Kartana promote here. That almost makes you think Lucky Lou is going to go for that Guzma and try to maybe stick this bottom Trubbish in the active or knock out that Trash Flange Garbodor. The Garbodor is the only thing I actually see as being able to bring PTM back in this game if he's able to find himself the other puzzle to grab the unit energy. And that's just not going to be enough here, I don't think. If that Garb goes down, you've got one other Garb, but that goes down easily to that Mew now that we see down there. Now, he did play a Mew, which is easy 2 prize access for PTM. Now, is going to discard the Trash Flange and the Lele. At which point, now you're setting up the Trubbish to get knocked out from a Guzma. Oh, no, I don't like this play at all. I feel like you've got to leave the Garb on the board, because now if that Trubbish gets Guzma'd, oh, no, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Lucky Lou does see the line of play, but doesn't grab the Trubbish. I think you absolutely take the Trubbish there. I understand him not wanting to offset prizes here, but your opponent doesn't really have a win con otherwise. You've got to recognize he only has 5 cards in the deck. I think you absolutely take the thing off the board that could potentially one-shot your Zoroark right now. And that thing is that Trubbish. So now PTM could punish here, grabs the Floatstone. If he hits a trade into the other puzzle, it looks like he is going for the Mew here. Now, I would have loved to have seen... Okay, we are seeing it now. Trade that Bridget away. Please, PTM, trade the Bridget into the puzzle. Find yourself a unit energy and smack this Mew down right now. That would be beautiful. Is just going to opt to do the 80. I disagree with this line of play. I do not like this line at all. No, Sam, I do not. And I think you absolutely take the 2 prizes off the board and you set yourself up to say, hey, you haven't played a full bench yet. I don't think you can play a full bench to knock out this Trash Flancher, and then you trade into your last Guzma in the deck, and you knock out that Tapu Lele for game. I would have absolutely have liked to seen a more aggressive line of play. Now, I understand where he's coming from. I only have 4 cards in deck, but you've got to wonder, at what point are you just potentially handing the game away? And we do see here that counter catcher coming up with PTM being ahead in prizes by 1, grabbing that damaged Zoroark, and we are going to see the DC here on the Mew. Now, you've got to wonder, Lucky Lou here maybe making a misplay. Mew has a Zoroark resists the Mew here, so unless there's something I'm not seeing, I guess Mew could potentially use Trash Avalanche, but I believe that it requires the energy types. I may be wrong about that, but I do believe it requires the energy types, so I'm not quite sure. Now, we do see the Delinquent coming out here, which is huge. It is going to force PTM to discard the Floatstone, the Bridget, and the Zoroark. I think you've absolutely got to keep the puzzle, but PTM may have just dug a little too deep too fast without a clear game plan in mind, because now we're in this situation where I'm not sure what he's going to be able to string together with only 4 cards in deck. He's got to be able to get the Zoroark out of the active. And this Mew, while not taking a one-shot right now, even with another bench Pokemon, it would only do 100 damage. The Zoroark is going to live. That's why you've got to question, was that a misplay? Unless there's something I'm not seeing. He's done for. Yeah, there is a puzzle prize. All right, Kaylee says there is a puzzle prize, which if you're PTM, then why are you keeping the puzzle? You've had full access to your deck. You just searched it last turn. I didn't catch it, but that's not my responsibility. That's yours, PTM. Why would you keep the puzzle here and not the Floatstone? Opt to get this Zoroark out of the active that's not going to get KO'd here. And now it is still not going to get KO'd here. It's still going to do 100 damage. You've got to wonder, why would you not keep the Floatstone, opt into your other Zoroark, and potentially try to make a run for the money? You can waste the DC here, but you're also putting yourself in just dangerous territory of your opponent just sticking that bench Garb in the active. It looks like he is going to opt to just Riotous Beating here for 80. Does he have a Choice Band left in the deck? He's only got 3 cards, and I do believe one of them is a Guzma. Which could set up that bench Mew for a KO, but I'm not sure that there's going to be enough left here. Now, we see the rainbow coming down on the Kartana, so it looks like that rainbow energy is just for Mew, Kartana, and Tapu Lele, but we see it coming down on the Kartana, is going to allow him to potentially set up some kind of a Blade GX knockout for game here, with maybe a knockout on Zoroark, Garbodor, and Kartana. Now, we see that Max Potion coming down on the Mew. That's exactly what you want to string together. You see PTM just nodding his head down. That's not what you want to see. And so he does run multiple Max Potions as well. Most variants tend to only run 1 or 2. Now, we have seen 2. We haven't seen more than that. So it's not too out of the norm. But yeah, man, does he have a lot of utility in here. And even, runs things like the Kartana, the Rainbow, and the Mew. So we do see another trade coming down. Now, Lucky Lou is only at 6 cards, but I'm not really seeing what PTM could have here, because Lucky hasn't even played a second set of puzzles. Now, it is possible that Lucky has one of his puzzles prized as well, and you could potentially see PTM go for a Guzma play here to stick something in the active. I would love to at least see him try. It does look like he is going to promote this Zoroark and go to town with it, but unfortunately he doesn't have a lot left. So we do see an Evo Soda here, 2 cards in deck. I think he recognizes that you can't really trade here, so he is just going to Riotous Beating for 60, and maybe another Riotous Beating come down, but at that point your Zoroark is toast. And you're not going to outpace your opponent unless Lucky Lou makes a mistake and does a trade here and doesn't have access to an N or something. You've got to wonder now. He does have a Zorua there, so he has had access to the full bench damage the whole time. Wouldn't have had to miss that knockout, that turn on the Zoroark. That's kind of interesting. Does run a team. Flare Gun is going to discard that last DC, and we do see PTM concede the game. So Lucky Lou there, both players running through their resources. Lou, slow and sure wins the race. PTM dug through fast and hard to find one of those DCs, and in the end, it put him on crunch time with milling out a lot of his resources he needed late game. So his opponent has not left the game yet, so we will see here going into game 2. PTM did have a little bit of unfortunate luck. Zorua off the prizes absolutely could have been Kaylee for sure. Now, we did see here, unfortunately, PTM did have to dig pretty hard 3 turns to find one of those double colorless energy, and only having one prize, that is just pretty unfortunate luck with as many cards as he went through. I did like the aggression out of him. I think he did take the right path with the Garb in the mid game, but then he didn't stick with it in the late game, and I think that would have really opened up quite a few options for him. I think he's got to save his puzzles. You see him doing a little yoga there, a little zen, trying to pull himself back into the right mindset. Says, that was just game 1. If I clean this one up, we've reset back into game 3. So just needs to chill out a little bit, take things in stride. He'll be able to hopefully pull together another good start here, maybe find that DC early, put the aggression down, and get himself where he needs to be. In this matchup, I would argue that the Trash Phalanx absolutely has the advantage because Zoroark just needs to use a lot of item resources to actually get going. I'm not sure why he's asking that. It doesn't really matter. Maybe PTM not quite understanding how it works, but he should get to opt to go first no matter what because he lost. We'll see here to figure that out. If he can get all that worked out. But yes, so he asked 2 questions there and his opponent said yes, which could answer either of them. So that's never what you want to see. You never like asking different ended questions and getting yes as an answer. It doesn't really actually. Let me get in here and correct this for him. We'll get an on the spot rules call. PTM, you get to opt to go first no matter what. You lost. I don't know if he's gonna see this. I don't know if he's even reading his chat, but hopefully he does see that. You want to go first. Yes, please. Yeah, if you're PTM, you absolutely want to go first here. Probably has chat closed, absolutely. I still felt the obligation to at least say something. But maybe he'll see it on his OBS monitor or whatever. Yeah, so they are just going to reset the game, it looks like, because PTM did not get to opt to go first. Okay, he'll pass it to me. No, that's not how it works. Yeah, don't do that, because then you're getting extra cards to start and all kinds of stuff. You only do that in Legacy. But, yeah. He just said you could read his lips. You can't just pass. You'd get an extra card to start. He understands. PTM's he's in the zone. And he'd also, you just can't do that. You could also evolve your active then. So you do just have to restart here. He'll just have to pass it over. PTM doing the responsible thing, doing it as per the rules. And, great. You'll love to see that. Yes, yes, in quotation marks. Exactly. So, all right, getting in game 2. No sweat there. We're just getting a couple kinks worked out. No big deal. Some of these players may not have had experience with the competitive side before. Completely understandable. Cream, what'd you think about that first game? Exactly. Yeah, Cream, very impressed here. He's so impressed by the game right now. He actually won't even blink. He doesn't want to miss anything. At any moment, something big could happen. A big top deck, a big drop, a big misplay, and he doesn't want to miss any of it. So he's going to let his eyes dry out in an effort at making sure that he sees absolutely everything. You want to talk about a fantastic table judge right here. Cream, number 1 table judge in NA, maybe even globally, has never missed a misplay in his life, has never blinked during a match. So you've got to love to see that. Now we do see the Bridget coming down here off PTM, does grab every Zorua, and as well as a Trubbish. I would have liked to have seen a little variety there, maybe a second Trubbish. But if you get put under Parallel City, you can just discard that Zuru off. Now, we do see a Guzma here on turn 1. Very interesting. Bringing up that Trubbish, maybe just trying to go for an early KO. Now, we see the Parallel City coming down here. Wants to force him to discard a Zuru. Didn't want to give him the option of the Trubbish. Now, we see that the Zoroark and the DCR in PTM's hands, so he's ready to rock and roll. If Lucky Luke gives him a bench Pokemon, I think that's an interesting play with the Guzman. And we see the Rainbow come down here. Is going to allow him to use like Acid Spray off that Trubbish. Not sure, it doesn't really do anything except the 20 damage. So, alright, we see an Acid Spray. That's an incredibly weak hand out of Lucky Lou. PTM, what can you string together, my friend? You've got the DC online, and you've got the Zoroark. He is going to trade away the Mysterious Treasure, it looks like. Doesn't have an option to play that Tapu Lele or another Trubbish down. Finds his way into another DC here and an N. Can play the N, but it would take his opponent out of it. Is going to just choose to get rid of 2 Guzma and the DC and the N. Doesn't want to put his opponent into a better hand. Is going to Ultra Ball away an Ultra Ball and a Latios, as Latios doesn't do too much in this matchup. Grab another Zoroark and set himself up for a trade here. Now the question is, do you trade your unit energy or do you trade one of these Trubbishes? And I almost think you've got to trade the unit. You've got another unit. You can always puzzle him back. But he is going to choose to trade the Trubbish. I think that's respectable. Your opponent runs Enhanced Hammer. You do put a lot of value on it. Does find the Float Stone here. That is absolutely huge. You would have loved to seen the Parallel City as well. Or the Field Blower as well, so he could overlay his own. But, man, this is a strong start from PTM. Is going to get to do that Riotous Beating for 80 damage, put Mew at 90. And now, if you're Lucky Lou, you've got to top deck something good. You need a bench Pokemon, or you're going to get benched here. Whew. PTM, he's on the edge. He wants it so bad. He's waiting. Says, don't you dare slow roll me, Lucky Lou. Hit that concede button. I want the bench on this Mew. I want to get rocking and rolling. I want to punish that 120 HP cutie right off the board and send this to game 3. Man, I guarantee we're going to see him pop off. Now, we do see the puzzle of time here. Do we see a second one? It does look like we do. He is going to grab the Guzma, or maybe that's just the animation for it. Maybe he's restacking the 3. It does look like he is restacking the 3. But that, is there a supporter here? You can see PTM questioning the same thing I am. If you're stacking your 3, the max potion comes down. That's okay, though, if you're PTM. You've still got an option to take a knockout on this Mew this turn. You can try to dig for that Field Blower. Also, you dig for the Field Blower and just find your way into the cards right here. Here's your option. Now, he is going to drop the unit energy, is going to play this Cynthia down, has double trade access, needs a Field Blower and 2 bench Pokemon, and we'll be on to game 3. We do see that there is a Tapu Lele in hand and a Rescue Stretcher to get that Zorua back, which will give access to the bench Pokemon. We just need a Field Blower, and PTM's going to be able to send this forward. Oh, no, you don't get rid of the Tapu Lele. You absolutely just get rid of the end. That's fine. Get rid of the end if we see that Field Blower come down, and we do! The Field Blower is down. PTM's popping off that Sigh of Relief, is going to knock that Parallel City out. You already saw him starting to click his discard. Now he just has to drop the Tapu Lele and the Rescue Stretcher. No. What are you doing? You've already got the game in hand, my friend. You drop Tapu Lele. Don't even search for a supporter. You don't need it. Just hit no. Okay, just do it for good measure. Whatever. But, only had 2 supporters left in deck, too. That's a scary sight. But it's not going to matter here. PTM is going to be able to Rescue Stretcher, back that Zorua to his hand, and be able to fill his bench up and do a Riotous Beating. Okay, he's going to choose to trade first. Just wants to, dot his I's, cross his T's, make sure to be mindful, play everything through. No! Does he not see the Rescue Stretcher play? No! No, PTM, don't do it! PTM, you have to play the Stretcher, my friend. You must get back your bench Pokemon. And then Riotous Beating for 120. You have game in hand. Do not do this to me. Oh, he sees it. What am I doing? He absolutely sees it. Just a brief lapse there of judgment, but does come back, finds the Stretcher, grabs the Trubbish, manages to throw down that Riotous Beating for 120. Donk that Mew, and we are going to game 3, folks. Yes, you see PTM popping off there. Excited as can be. Woo! Now, Lucky Lou will get to go first in this game 3. And, you know, that will get him an extra turn. But holy cow, if you're PTM there, oh man, he hovered that Riotous Beating, and I would have lost it. Because man, you just never going to see that. You never going to see that. Would he have still been in a fantastic spot? Probably won that game, absolutely. But man, woo! Did not miss the lethality there on that Mew. Fantastic. Way to go. Cream did not miss the play himself. Dry eyes Cream over here. So now we are waiting for the next make. Yes, we see PTM once again going back to his yoga, back to his roots. That's what got him in the right mental state for that last game, and now he wants him to keep himself in that mental state for game 3. Whew. Now, if you're Lucky Lou here, you've got to wonder, what do I do to get myself, you know, recovered after that? I think you just shake it off. You just say, you know, I had a bad draw. I opened up with my worst starter, and there's not much else to say about it. It is what it is. Now, we do see here that PTM opens up with all the basic Pokemon he could ever need. He could actually just lay out here and potentially then just Ultra Ball himself into a Tapu Lele. Now, I think you leave that one bench spot open exactly like he did, because if you do get put under Parallel, then you essentially place yourself in no supporter, and we see Lucky Lou open up with that Mew again, which is absolutely not what you want to see, but he does have that Tapu Lele with the Wonder Tag. So he is going to get a bench this time. Probably grab himself 3 Zoruas and off the Bridget. And although the first game he did opt to take 2 Zoruas and an Oranguru, we may see that again. But I would have liked to have just seen 3 Zoruas. Get your trades on board, start finding your resources, and that's exactly what we see. So we do see the 3 Zoruas come down. And, you know, I'd be content with a pass here, which is exactly what we see. Now, we don't see a supporter in PTM's hand, so he is going to have to Ultra Ball into a, it looks like a Tapu Lele, grab that Bridget, or not grab Bridget, we're so used to the Bridget. I think you just Wonder Tag into a different supporter here. I wouldn't go for an N yet, just because, once again, we haven't seen that your opponent has any Zoroarks or another supporter, even though he does have 6 in hand. I would like to just see a Cynthia come down. And that's exactly what we're going to see. We are going to see PTM opt for that Cynthia and shuffle in and hopefully find himself, you know, an energy, a couple more bench. That Parallel City's fantastic. Can't Evo so to PTM. It is turn 1. And as he realized, so he is going to Parallel City. His opponent's going to discard the Tapu Lele off the board, which is fine. Discards it away. I would have maybe, like, I like the Parallel City here early, I guess. It protects your own bench, forces them to waste a Field Blower as well. Kind of sets up your Trash Flange for later, forcing an extra item out. But you wish you could get 2 off of it. Now, we do see a Floatstone here. We do see an Evo Soda, which is going to allow Lucky Lou to get one of these Zoroarks out. And if he can find a DCE, he's actually going to have a knockout on the Zorua this turn, which will leave PTM with only 1 Zorua, meaning only access to 1 Zoroark and 1 trade next turn. So we do see a triple Zoroark turn. We see PTM just as surprised as I am. Wow, what a hand. That's going to give Lucky Lou access to 6 new cards each turn, plus the draw means it's going to have access to 7 cards of visibility each turn in addition if PTM cannot take care of these quick. And with only 2 items in the discard, Trash Flange is not cooking yet. Now there's 3 items, so we will keep track of the items throughout the game. Cream, you remember 3. And, that's not how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop, Cream. That's how many items are in Lucky Lou's discard right now. So now we see the N come down out of Lucky Lou. Is going to get a fresh 6. Is going to put PTM into a fresh 6, which is great because PTM didn't have a supporter. PTM does see the Zoroark there, does see the DC and the Field Blower, so can revenge a Parallel if it does happen to get bumped. Now we do have 4 items with the Ultra Ball as well. It looks like Lucky Lou getting ready to pop off this turn, just digging for a DCE if he can find one. I believe he has 1 trade left. Does retreat into the Zoroark, so we're going to have to see, is the DC in hand? Thinking about it, not quite sure. Doesn't have it. Wow, that's huge. That's going to give PTM access to 2 Zoroarks, keep his Zorua alive if you are PTM. Now, I'm not quite sure about this play. You could Tapu Lele. You could do everything you wanted to do. Field Blower that Floatstone, play the Choice Band down, Mysterious Treasure for a Trubbish, and then play a full 7 Sycamore. Looks like he is going to go for the Guzma here. Opt to Guzma and maybe Mysterious Treasure into that Trubbish. Take the old knockout. Doesn't even have to Mysterious Treasure. Has the Choice Band. Is going to Guzma for the Mew. Has an even better line of play than I saw. And is going to take that off the field, which will preserve the Field Blower. And looks like maybe has the trade here on the Mysterious Treasure. I think that's absolutely fine. Maybe find a Garb And that's not the garb you want to see, though. You would have much rather seen Trash Phalange with an item. Or, not Trash Phalange, that is Trash Phalange. Garbotoxin with an item and shut all these trades off. However, still not bad. Has your Trash Phalange out. Is going to Riotous Beating here. Take the knockout 130 on this Mute. Go up 4 to 6 in prizes. And this is the aggression you want to see if you're PTM right now. Finds his way into a Guzma and an N, which is fantastic. And now if you're Lucky Lou, you've got to wonder, what can I piece back together? I still have my 3 Zoroarks on board. I still get visibility of 7 cards each turn. And there's the Enhanced Hammer. So now you've got to wonder, is Lucky Lou going to start to play a resource game with PTM? Start to force him out of some of these, start to play these max potions and say, you know, I'm just going to run you out of resources. But that's going to be difficult to do because if PTM conserves his unit energies well, that Trash Phalange Garbodor is only going to get stronger and stronger. I do believe that we are up to 6 items in the discard now. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we are at 6 items in the discard. Now, PTM with a fantastic hand right now. The reason being, he can drop that Zoroark down on the Zorua, double trade the Bridget's away, which you don't want to see for the rest of the game, and get himself 4 new cards. Now, we see another trade come down here from Lucky Lou. Puts his Zorua down, is looking to get maybe a 4th Zoroark going. And has used an Evo Soda. There is a counter catcher as well, so now we are up to 7. Which is putting Garb at 120 after resistance on a Zoroark. Now we see a puzzle here, so that's going to be 8. So now we're at 140 through resistance, 160 if it's on anything else. And looks like is going to grab back 2 items, though. An Enhanced Hammer, and I didn't see what the other one was. Maybe an Evo Soda, I'm not quite sure. So actually that the 2 puzzles will just replace 2 more items. It will stay at the 120 through resistance, so we are still at 7 items in the discard. But eventually that those 2 items are going to get played again, which means that those will once again boost that Trash Phalange. I'd love to see PTM maybe consider building up another Trubbish on the bench and just getting ready to chain those Garbs into big old knockouts. Now, we do see here the last trade coming down on Lucky Lou's side is going to get rid of that Enhanced Hammer. Interesting choice. Pulls it out and then gets rid of it. I would almost argue that's a waste of a puzzle. Maybe Lucky Lou a little bit on tilt after that Mew knockout back-to-back in Game 2 and Game 3. Now, we do see the Riotous Beating come down here for 80. PTM nodding his head exactly what he wants to see. Is going to do trade 1 on the Bridget. Probably trade 2 on the Bridget as well. And grab himself. Looks like we got a Field Blower and an Ultra Ball. Not much to use there. And I just think you trade here. Trade the other Bridget away. Hope you find yourself into another DCE. And there it is, the DCE. That's exactly what you want to see. Now the question is, do you put the Latios down, get the maximum damage output? I think you absolutely have to if you're PTM. You want to be softening that Zoroark up as much as possible in case you do have to come at it with a Garb. You know, your opponent is in a situation where Garb, through resistance right now, I do believe it is at 120 damage, so that would put it in range of being KO'd. So, looks like PTM is contemplating an Ultra Ball here, maybe gets rid of the Latios in the Parallel City, is going to grab another Trubbish possibly, set up the second Trubbish, recognizes that the first one could be in danger. Maybe contemplating the Kartana here, would love to maybe slice off that DC off the active Zoroark, but your opponent's going to be able to recover through resource management. Oranguru anyways has only played 1 DC so far, so maybe just you know, I personally would like to see the Trubbish come down. I think the Trubbish is your key to victory. It takes quick 2 prize KOs, and whereas it only gives up 1 prize if it gets KO'd in return. Kartana doesn't provide too much utility outside of that. Is going to opt for the Tapu Lele here. Maybe just to grab a supporter next turn. I think because you've got your trades online, I don't think that's absolutely necessary. Or just grab a supporter this turn. Yeah, I still like the Trubbish here. I still like the Trubbish. And now your bench is filled. If I'm your opponent, I don't even want to parallel you. If I don't have to, because all you're going to discard is Tapu Leles anyways. I'd rather just take care of your Trash Phalange Garbodor. But we do see the DC come down here on the active Zoroark, and is going to end the opponent down to 6, so that will be a -2 for Lucky Lou, which did rhyme. Wasn't even intentional. Now, we do see the Riotous Beating is going to come out here for 150 with that Choice Band. So pretty much anything can knock out that Zoroark now. A Tapu Lele with a DCE, a Trash Phalange with a unit, or a Zoroark with a DC as well. We see a Field Blower come down here on that Parallel City and the Choice Band. Lucky Lou looking maybe to set up his own Parallel City this turn. and force PTM to discard 2 of those Tapu Lele off the board. Is going to ace a roll of the active Zoroark. You've got to hate to see that, because that little Zorua now can get evolved, and the board state is effectively reset. DCE comes down again, another Zorua, evolve your other Zorua into Zoroark, and you're right back where you were before, and all that damage is wiped away. And now you've got to start to wonder, if you're PTM, am I in a situation where I'm going to start to have some poor things strung together? Here's your other risk. Right now, remember, Lucky Lou runs that Delinquent. Next turn, a Delinquent very well could come down. You know, you can see here PTM is on 4 cards, but not a lot of utility in those 4 cards. And there is that Delinquent right out of the deck. Lucky Lou, seeing the same line of play, says, you're getting pretty low, my friend. I'm going to make you start trading through a lot of your resources. And, man, you've just got to wonder, does Lucky Lou regret getting rid of that Enhance Hammer, or does he have a second one in his hand? Because you've got to want that DC to come off the board on the active Zoroark. Force him to start wasting puzzle times to get those DCs back. Now, we do suspect here that Trash Avalanche is most likely in range of KOing just about anything on the board. Maybe needs 1 or 2 more items for the Zoroark through the resistance. But with all the items that have been played so far, Trash Avalanche is going to start to become a very, very big threat. With that Float Stone in PTM's hand, he's going to be able to get the Zoroark out of the active no matter what. And the question is going to be, can he find a unit energy to come up and smack this Zoroark GX around? Now, Lucky Lou will have 100 damage on this active Zoroark. Maybe looking for a Choice Band here. Would give him the KO, 210, and remove the DC that way. Doesn't appear he's found it yet. Has an Ultra Ball. Maybe is looking for a Zoroark next turn. Is putting more items in the discard, which will pump this Trash Avalanche up. I can't imagine it's not in range by now. We do see an Evo Soda, another item. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... maybe some on the second page here. 10, 11. So right now it's doing 220. It's doing 200 through resistance. There's the Ultra Ball that wasn't in the discard yet. So now through resistance it will be doing it. And the Kartana comes down to mill that DCE. So we've got the Riotous beating for 120. Not quite enough for the knockout. But you got to wish, you know, that Kukui was an item and not a supporter. You'd run a bunch of them. So now we see 200 damage on the Zoroark. Your PTM, you've got a Float Stone in hand. You've got Trash Avalanche. It should be locked and loaded, ready and online to do some crazy damage here. I think you trade one of the Float Stones away, and you just try to find that unit energy and put down some crazy damage with Garb. I would recount the items just to make sure it can get a one-shot. You don't want to put yourself in a max potion range, where you put your Garbodor at risk and then it gets max potioned. Now we do see PTM there using a little bit of foul language, saying that damn word because he is not pleased. But he finds the unit energy off the last card on the trade. That will open up access to the Trash Avalanche off the Garbodor here. Now PTM does need to double check and recount these items, make sure that the Ultra Ball wasn't in there when he counted originally. That should give him the 200 damage, 210 damage. He'll need to knock out the Zoroark. It should do 220 through resistance. He is going to count here again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is 240, 220 through resistance. He's doing the math right now in his head, saying, hey, that's enough. Drop that unit energy down. Let's go to town, boys. Now, I think you just drop the Float Stone. You don't waste your Guzma here. You absolutely retreat into this Trash Avalanche Garbodor, and you're going to Trash Avalanche for 220 damage through resistance. Take that Zoroark off the board and go down to 2 prizes. Fist pumps here. And now PTM has bought himself a little bit of time. Even if he loses this Trash Avalanche here, finds himself a DCE for his other Zoroark. Would love to find his way into another puzzle, grab that Acerola, pick up that bench Zoroark so it doesn't take the, get the KO here. And now you've got to wonder, can I string together another knockout? Now, Lucky Lou, in a predicament himself, has to find another bench Pokemon. Otherwise, he can't knock out this Garb, and this is game over. Sayonara, and we know he took the Delinquent last turn, has one puzzle. Does he have the second? That's the question. Now, we know the animation's the same regardless. The question is he stacking the deck, or is he finding a Zorua out of the prizes right now to put on the bench, or possibly even a Tapu Lele? Is it 2 puzzles? Is it 1? Oh! It looks like it's 2 puzzles, but he grabs an Acerola and an Enhance Hammer. Does that mean that he already has the Pokemon in his hand? He must. He must have the Pokemon in his hand. Why wouldn't you take the knockout on this Garbodor? He has the Counter Catcher. He's going to take the knockout on the Zoroark. Now, we did see here, he took out an Acerola and an Enhanced Hammer, but then he played the Enhanced Hammer, and he played the Counter Catcher. Garb's in range, Garb's on lock. Now, the Floatstone is going to come off the board, but we do see here that PTM has the Floatstone in hand. PTM also has a puzzle. He's got a trade on board. He could trade into the other puzzle or the unit energy. Now, he's got 2 unit in the prizes. I'm not sure if he runs 3, but I believe he does. So he could get puzzle, he could get unit. We see him here counting it out, and that's exactly what we're doing. He could also find a supporter to get himself into into that unit energy. So he's got plenty of outs here. He's got supporters, he's got Ultra Balls, he's got Tapu Leles, he's got the unit energy itself. He's got everything. He's only got 22 cards in deck, and he has a trade to find it. So now you promote your Tapu Lele here. You've got the Floatstone ready and rocking. If he finds a unit, PTM will win this game. Now that's a rescue stretcher, not what you want to play. He could grab the Tapu Lele out of the discard, does recognize that line of play, says I could grab this Tapu Lele Wonder Tag, at least look through my deck, see what we've got there. I do love that. I love that line of play. Please make that line of play, PTM. Now, we are going to see the trade here come first. I would like to see the Tapu Lele first. It would allow you to thin your deck, grab that supporter first, give you a little better option into the trade to actually find that unit energy if it does exist, but maybe he's not ready to commit the stretcher yet. No, you cannot get rid of the Floatstone. You have to get rid of the Guzma. You don't want to risk having to use the Guzma as your supporter to make this play happen. Although there is the Zoroark in the active. But yeah, you can't get rid of the float. So now we see an N and an Ultra Ball here. I think you play the Ultra Ball, look through your deck, see what you've got, and try to piece together this puzzle, for instance. There are 19 cards in deck. You've got plenty of options. You could Ultra Ball away the other Trash Phalange. I don't see a path that you're going to play at this game. And you could also Ultra Ball away the Zorua, I like as a play. Or the DC, but you may need the DC to actually attack this turn. I would love to see an Ultra Ball here. I would love to see an Ultra Ball come down on the Garb and the Zorua, dig through your deck, go for it all, right? Big money, no whammy, you know? And so we are going to see the Rescue Stretcher possibly is going to maybe look for a supporter. That would also allow him to look through the deck. Does recognize that he does have that Tapu Lele there again. I would have liked to have seen that before the trade if he was going to do it, but maybe he just wasn't sold on it yet. Does grab the Tapu Lele, is going to Wonder Tag. We're going to get to see in the deck now. Is PTM going to get to make a big old gamble for this unit energy? So we are going to scroll through here. Now, he does have a Sycamore available, and that's exactly what you want to see. 3 puzzles in the deck. Now, he didn't go all the way back to his energy, which makes me think that he knows he doesn't have a unit available. 3 puzzles, but he's going to have to use one. Oh, there is a unit, too! He's got access to a unit. Triple puzzle in this deck. This is huge, folks. He's got 7 cards. He needs to mill his deck as much as possible. It looks like he's going to go big or go home this turn. This could really dictate whether PTM moves on in the tournament or is knocked out. Putting it all on the line, is contemplating, is this the route I want to take? And PTM, I absolutely think it is. If you want to make this an exciting finish, buddy, you grab that Sycamore and you let it ride. Now, we are going to see it. He says, why not? We are going to see the Ultra Ball come down here. He's going to try to thin out, the deck as much as possible. Do as much as he can to try to actually secure this game. So we do see the Ultra Ball is going to grab probably the Zoroark here and just throw it away. Says, I don't have a chance to use it. And here we go, everybody. Puzzle, double puzzle, or the unit energy for the game. PTM, he's going to play his puzzle here. It's, he does see it's not in the top 3. It is not in the top 3 off the Sycamore, so it's going to have to be one of the last 4 out of 13, or 4 out of 14. And 2 of those will have to either be puzzle or that unit energy for PTM to win this game. Now, you cannot play that DC down, my friend. You know you've got another DC on top. You just Sycamore away, let it ride. Right here, big money, no whammy. Can PTM hit this unit energy to move on in the loser's bracket, or is Lucky Lou going to live to see another day? We don't see it come down here. Absolutely whiffs, but we do see an Enhanced Hammer, so this game is not over yet, folks. As long as Lucky Lou does not have a Guzma to take out this Garb, he's sitting okay, but PTM did extend a lot of resources. Now, we do see a Trubbish here. I'm not sure if PTM has a way to get that Trash Phalange back out of the active, as we did see the Rescue Stretcher come down before. And, we do see the Tapu Lele is going to retreat here into the Zoroark, so he is still going to put down a respectable amount of damage, 100 damage on this active Zoroark, which is something Lucky Lou's going to have to be mindful of, is, removing it. Now, we do know Lucky Lou does run at least 2 max potions, and so I don't suspect that 100 damage will stick. There is access to double trade, only 8 cards left in deck and 8 in hand. You've also got to remember, right now, Lucky Lou has that Enhanced Hammer, but's also holding that Delinquent from before, so could Delinquent out the rest of the hand if there is a Stadium card available. And, man, you just got to feel for PTM there, not having access, not hitting that unit energy, or any of the 3 puzzles left in deck. Not just one of them, but not hitting any of them. And, so we do see that parallel come down. It is going to open up that Delinquent strategy. You just throw away the Tapu Lele without the Float Stone, and now you've got to wonder. We do see the Float in hand, but you've got to suspect the Delinquent will absolutely come down this turn. We see the DC there, so it's either a Guzma or a Delinquent. The Guzma is not what you want to see if you're PTM. Absolutely. That is the worst card that could have been played right there. That is going to bring up the Trash Phalange Garbodor. Now, PTM is not out of it yet. The question is, does he have a way to get one of these Trash Phalangers back in the deck? We know that he's got double puzzle here. That will mean that he does have a Zoroark online. If he trades into double puzzle, Trash Phalange Garb, he could grab Trash Phalange Garb and Unit Energy, has the Float Stone in hand. This is he is not out of this by any means. The Max Potion, irrelevant at this point. Could PTM hit 2 of 3 puzzles left in the deck, 10 cards, has a draw for turn and a trade. He will have 3 cards total to hit 2 puzzles on this next turn. Can he string together the miraculous comeback? He's nodding his head. He knows what he needs to do. He's not out of this by any means. He may even just opt to promote the Trubbish right away. I would have liked to have seen the Lele promote. We see puzzle number 1. Puzzle number 1. The game is set up. It's his game to win. You trade. You hit 1 of your 2 puzzles remaining in 9 cards, and you will win this game, BTM. Is going to trade away the Evo Soda. Does he hit the puzzle here? We see the Jesus pose. And in a choice band, that's not what you want to see. Now the question is, can he thin his deck enough? You opt to play the Float Stone on the Trubbish. You opt to Field Blower away the Parallel City. And then you just play your N. You end yourself. You've got 3 puzzles in deck. There will be 8 cards. You draw 2. Can you draw double puzzle off this N? PTM just trying to make it interesting. Is going to play the N here. Can he get 2 puzzles back to back? Oh, he gets 1 puzzle, not the other. You see him do the facepalm down. That's not what you want to see. How many times can this guy draw 1 puzzle and not the other? Is going to promote the Zoroark, just leave it there as a sitting duck. Now the question is, does Lucky Lou have a Guzma left in deck to get rid of this Trubbish? The last hope, the remaining savior. Whew. Lucky, do you have the Guzma remaining? Now, he's got 3 trades online. He can dig the whole rest of his deck. There's the Guzma. That's not what you want to see if you're PTM. You know the writing's on the wall. Unfortunately, he's probably not going to be able to string together a comeback. He's not out here now, however. If he draws another puzzle, he will have access to what could he grab here? We know he's got 3 puzzles left. He could grab a Trubbish and another puzzle. At which point, then, he would just have to hit the other puzzle and force his opponent. Is he not going to knock out the Trubbish? You've got to knock out the Trubbish here. PTM, I wonder if he'll see this line of play, though. If this Trubbish gets KO'd. He resource management. Oh, because PTM probably does not have a Guzma remaining. You've got to wonder, does he have the Guzma? But that still opens up a line of play for PTM here. PTM could draw the other puzzle, double puzzle, grab himself a Garb, grab himself a Guzma, then play the N, hit the 2 puzzles, trade into the remaining, and grab the energy. Does PTM see this line of play? Oh, but he's going to need a way to get this Lele out of the active, but that's the Guzma. No, you do not trade the N away. No, Field Blower. Oh, you've got to trade the Field Blower away, PTM. He's nodding, but that's not it. He's got the double puzzle, but you needed the trade. PTM, you needed the trade. Oh, you needed the N to chain the comeback together, PTM. Now I don't know what he can string together to try to win this. You had an out. You could have Oh, you could have grabbed. You would have traded. You would have hit the puzzle. If you would have just oh no. You could have tried to hit both puzzles, traded into the other one, double puzzle. That would have been your ticket. Now he can grab the unit, he can grab the Garb, but the question is, does his opponent have the Guzman? I believe we saw it off of resource management. I mean, he can take the KO on the Oranguru. It's going to come down to, can his opponent find another bench Pokemon? Well, he can't take the KO. He can't get in the active, and I think PTM recognizes that last Guzma is going to come down. I think Lucky Lou did take it off the resource management. I'm not 100% sure. I was so excited about the triple puzzle potential that we're not going to get to see now. You've got to wonder, is there any hope? If any damage comes down on this Tapu Lele, that will be game, as Tapu Lele can be picked up with the Acerola in PTM's hands. Now, we do see Lucky Lou trading here. Is going to, go through the motions. Does trade away another Zorua. Does he have the Guzma? Now, if there's the Enhanced Hammer. Now, there is still a unit energy in the deck, actually. If I remember correctly, PTM never drew that unit energy. He took that off the puzzles. So we do see the resource management here. I don't believe there is a Guzma left in the deck. I would like to see PTM just do the trade for all the cards, make sure the Guzma is not there. And, man, the triple puzzle play was absolutely the ticket. I think getting rid of the N off the trade, I think you just play the N. Know that you're going to get 2 cards. 3 of them are puzzles out of 5. And hope that you hit 2 of them. Double trade into a puzzle. Man, you gotta hate to see that if you're PTM. Is gonna trade the Ultra Ball, find his last 2. It is a puzzle and the energy. Unfortunately, that is not going to do it. He is short of being able to get something in the active. He needed that Acerola to be a Guzma. He was that close, as you can see him saying. And, unfortunately, he is going to get decked out here. There's nothing he can do to bring this one back. There's no way he can take 2 prizes this turn, which does mean Lucky Lou is going to move on. Here in the loser's bracket, PTM will take this loss in a very, very close Game 3. Congratulations to Lucky Lou moving on in that loser's bracket. Unfortunately, with that, PTM is knocked out. However, congratulations, PTM. What a fantastic run that you had in this event. We hope to see you in future ones. I'm sure we will, as you are a sponsor of the event, guys. And, wow, man, what a game, though. What a game. Should have kept the unit energy in hand last turn. Absolutely. That was, what a close one. I would have loved to have seen the triple puzzle play. I think that's what you got to shoot for there. I understand the probability is incredibly low. But dang, man, that's rough. But what a close game, guys. What a fantastic game. Once again, go make sure to drop PTM a follow if you haven't already. I'm sure you guys already have. And